Hello, Shakira here, and I'm with my group mates Emily, Sophia, and Jemima, and we are gonna show off our story titled Cage Bird. So, starting off, we have our main character, Theodore, who is living with his uncle, Mr. Delgado, who was an abusive and mean caretaker. His parents had left him 2 years without telling him the reason. At this time, he was a quiet boy who only found comfort with his pet cat named Scruffy.
He also would always daydream of a girl he had met in a field of sunflowers. She had long brown hair and warm blue eyes. They had met several times in the past.
Whenever Theodore felt sad and afraid because of his caretaker's actions, he would take his family picture and look at the faces of his beloved parents. That makes him calm down and smile again. Then his pet cat named Scruffy jumped onto him, and he wondered about the cat's origin. Apparently, the cat had appeared out of nowhere next to him one morning after a night of being beaten by his caretaker.
One early morning, Theodore entered the kitchen for breakfast, but was afraid when he realized his caretaker standing with his arms crossed by the fridge.
He tried to be brave to face his caretaker, but the man became aggressive at Theodore's behavior and grabbed his wrists until his fingertips turned numb. The boy fought back by yelling at him. However, that resulted in his head being slammed into the fridge door. Theodore sat down onto the floor, and the man grabbed onto his hair, saying that he hated him ever since his father stole away the woman he loved, which may be the reason why for his attitude towards him.
As the man let go of him and stood up, Theodore wanted to fight back but suddenly remembered his parents' words to not retaliate and instead run away. He promised this to his parents, which were now like a curse. The caretaker then said that the reason he had been waiting in the kitchen was so that he could tell him to pack his things by that night because they would be moving the next morning. Therefore, Theodore felt helpless and weak as he couldn't do anything to improve his life.
Feeling frustrated, he told himself that he was only in a nightmare and that if he hit his head more times enough, he would wake up. He screamed his frustrations out as he did until he was about to have a concussion. Just before he blacked out, he remembered the girl he met in the sunflower fields. As he was unconscious, he realized that he was surrounded by darkness as far as the eye could see. Scruffy then suddenly appeared out of the dark with his bright green eyes to indicate his presence.
A white flame enveloped the cat, growing bigger and bigger until it blew away, revealing that Scruffy had changed his form to match Theodore's. Scruffy said the boy was not dreaming, and he was in his world. Theodore felt very confused and asked a lot of questions. Scruffy then explained everything to him and that Theodore was not just an ordinary boy. He was a mage, just the same as his mom, which he was unaware of. The being also said that he was Theodore's power that had taken form after he was separated from the boy when he was just a fetus. He wanted to protect him in his own way by being a cat close to his side. However, he felt that what he was doing wasn't enough, resulting in him returning back into the boy's body as his original power as a mage.
Theodore woke up after that and found himself outside of the house surrounded by gardening tools. He was in the gardening shed, and he knew that the caretaker was the one that put him there because of all the screaming he did earlier. But weirdly enough, when he touched his cheek, he didn't feel any pain or wound. When he wanted to leave the shed, the door handle wouldn't budge. Obviously, the man had locked him in there. Then he remembered the girl he saw in the sunflower field and wanted to see her again. This resolve brought him to break the door down. He was surprised that he was even able to do it despite his thin and bony figure, but that must be because he was slowly regaining his power back.
As the boy was about to jump over the gate to look after and meet the girl, His caretaker came and was outraged because the boy managed to find a way to escape the shade. As Theodore had the strength to fight him, he did it for the first time. He managed to kill his caretaker using the powers he wielded without mercy.
Theodore walked by himself out to the sunflower field and smiled as he managed to find the girl he admired. He asked the girl, Anne, to run away with him, but she refused. She said that the boy had changed and that he was not the same person she knew anymore. She held his wrist with shaking hands, showing him the blood he had on his palm. She walked away, telling him that she never wanted to see him again.
Theodore couldn't believe her words as his head ached. He swore to destroy the world, only for his thoughts to be stopped by a bullet that pierced his stomach. He doubled over as he felt confused when he heard his father's voice from behind him. He looked over to see his father was actually there, but he was slightly different than the last time he saw him. He asked him why he would shoot his own son, and the man said it was because he had broken his promise with him and his mother to not hurt others. He said that Theodore was not his son anymore, but a monster. Once again, shooting his son that was enough to black him out.
The boy woke up and found himself in a dark prison. When he placed his fingertips on the wall, it burned and he felt pain. He was unable to heal himself even after trying so hard. His father then came, telling him that he was locked up in a special cell for dangerous mages like him. Theodore then asked him about his mom and what he did to her. His mom suddenly came into the room and apologized to him because he failed to protect him. She then promised that she would come back for him after 635 years sentence ends. Theodore felt betrayed by his parents as sadness came over him. He was left alone in the darkness of the prison from that moment onwards. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for listening, and thank you to my group as well, Emily, Sophia, and Jemima. And we hope you enjoyed the story. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.